Hi, friend. I really wish that you were here so that we could sit here and discuss these review and discussion questions on page 68 of our workbooks. I have really enjoyed Colossians chapter 2, and I feel like I still have a lot to ponder on this. So as I was answering question 10, where it says Paul warns against the false teaching that additional practices beyond being in Christ are needed to be a true Christian. And the question says, share one way you have fallen prey to this mindset. And, I don't feel like I have just one specific way that I can say I have fallen into this mindset. I think for me, it has been a mindset that I need to do more, that I need to be better, that I need to somehow make myself perfect or make myself good. And with that, sometimes this overriding sense of guilt that I'm not doing enough, or that I'm less than, or if I mess up and I think or I speak or I act in a way that I know is not really walking with Christ, I'm really hard on myself, instead of enjoying the freedom and enjoying the riches that we have in this fullness of Christ that Paul talks about in chapter 2. So I easily fall prey into just doing more, being better, being perfect. And as I was thinking about it, I was thinking about I've got down in my kitchen, I've got these really tall kitchen cabinets, and I'm tall, okay? But there is one that is so tall and so deep, like I have to get out a chair, I climb up onto the chair, and I have to get onto my tippy toes in order to reach all the way to the back of that kitchen cupboard and get to whatever it is that I want. So I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about how Paul says it's at the beginning of this chapter. One of the things, and this was in question 3, identify the reasons Paul gives for his struggles on behalf of the Colossians. And Paul just longs for the Colossians to have several things, but one that stood out to me was that they would reach all the riches of full assurance of Christ, that they would reach them all. And friends, so that word reach caught my attention. When I looked it up, I realized that it's not even really in the Greek. The focus is on the all. The focus is on having the entire riches, having all this treasure that comes with Jesus Christ, and it includes this full assurance of being in him. Oh, that prepositional phrase just jumped out to me this week. In Christ, in Christ, in him, in him. Like, how many times, I should count them up, how many times did Paul use that phrase? But Paul really wants the Colossians, and I think this is just as relevant to us as believers today. He wants us to reach all of these riches of full assurance. And so what I picture myself doing, and I hope this kind of makes sense, I picture myself climbing up on that chair, getting on my tippy toes to try to reach Christ in my own power, to reach the treasures, to reach the riches, to reach this fullness of deity that dwells in Christ bodily and that we have been filled with. Like, I'm trying to work so hard to get to that. That's from verse 9, which was probably my favorite verse. It's hard to choose a favorite verse. So I'm trying in my own power. Can you picture me? Picture me? And maybe some of you can relate to this. We're on our tippy toe, like we're climbing the ladder, we're climbing the chairs, we're on our tippy toes, we're working so hard to reach this fullness of Christ. When if we are in him, question number 9, what is the work of a true Christian? Well, it is to be established in Christ. It is to be, meaning to be settled in him, rested in him, in faith, just believing in him, and then walking in him. That's our work. So if we are simply established in Christ, settled in him, it's as if like Christ is in us. And instead of us reaching and being on our tippy toes and working so hard, Christ is in us. Christ is here. We don't have to reach. We don't have to strive. We don't have to work. There is nothing else we need. Christ just says, here I am. Believe in me. Trust in me. Walk in me. I have all you need. Don't listen to these other voices that tell you you need anything more. And yes, sometimes these voices creep into the church. Don't do this. Don't touch this. Sometimes these voices come from the world. You need this to be happy. You need this to be satisfied. And sometimes these voices just come from our enemy. We do have an enemy that prowls, Satan and his demons. But Paul makes it abundantly clear. This was the last thing I noticed of the blessings. Question 7, some of these blessings that we have in Christ. The last one that he says is, look, we are safe from our enemies. Jesus has disarmed our enemies, which is Satan and his demons. He took away their weapons, and their weapon really is death, right? And we are now safe in Jesus. Oh, friends, in Jesus, in Christ, in him, we have all that we need. Let's just ponder what it means to be in him, that he is here. We don't have to be reaching. We don't have to be striving to know his full assurance. All we have to do is just be settled, established, trusting, having faith, and walking with him. This encourages my heart as we wrap up Colossians 2. I hope it encourages you, and I'll look forward to beginning chapter 3 next week. Thanks for being here.